Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Find Out podcast. Sorry, our beginning is a little rough because we were literally nonstop talking until we hit record. But we have a special announcement for today, and I'm going to kick it to Zach, or we'll just show him if you're watching on video. Zach and Rich are in the same room together for this taping.
And we're like, I didn't bring anything. So I didn't bring a computer. I didn't bring a microphone. So we're going to be like doing Beach Boys into the same mic.
Little harmony.
Little like 2-part harmony. And we also have to stay the same distance. Otherwise one of us is blurry. So we're just going to look like two hairy ass faces sharing a mic. So it's going to be like a nice moment.
Well, actually, if you're watching on the screen, you kind of get 3 different versions of beards. You get you guys with the really heavy beards. I shaved mine down because it was driving me crazy. So I've kind of got the mid. And then we've got Luke.
Nothing.
The baby face. Absolutely nothing.
Is that a version?
Stuffle, though. A little here, a little there.
Is that a version of a beard? Like you said, 3 different versions of a beard.
Oh, yeah, 0, 50,
0.
100.
3 different versions of man face.
Yes. And unfortunately, the other member of the full beard face, Kris,
right, he's got that.
We're recording this at 8:45 on Sunday night. So he has a 6-week-old. So you can guess where he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they have moved past the period where the kid sleeps all the time and now the kid thinks sleeping sucks. So that's why he's not here, unfortunately, but
that lasts
may join us a little bit. Last episode, I think, was probably our funniest one. I think we're going to have some fun with this one too, because we're going to talk about a topic that I don't think any of us thought would come up in this, but it has. And we're going to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein shit show that has enveloped, I guess, MAGA world. And we're starting to see some of the first cracks in MAGA and some people actually being mad at Donald Trump. He had a truth. Is that what it's called? A truth post?
He got ratioed.
A truthy. He
got ratioed on the platform.
He got ratioed on his
own platform. Like 20,000 comments to 18,000 likes.
Yeah. So before we dive into it, just a little background for those of you, if you just on the left, we don't pay as much attention to Jeffrey Epstein. But so Trump has talked about Epstein and Trump world have talked about the Epstein list as a way to sort of suggest that there's all these Democrats on it and they're evil people. Pam Bondi, the attorney general, even said she had the list on her desk. And then a few weeks later,
handed out those lists to the influencers.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. Everybody's forgetting about that.
Right. They said they're giving it to people and all this stuff. And all of a sudden the list doesn't exist. And President Trump is
what did you just call him?
That they call him President Trump. So
yeah.
Disgusting.
Donald.
Like soap in the mouth.
Stop the recording. Start over.
I know. Well, I should do what Hillary did. She just called him Donald, which he hated.
I call him Trump. I don't ever call him president.
He did not like it. He even said he was even asked, and I think in the White House in the Roosevelt Room one day last week, and he was like, "Why is everyone talking about Jeffrey Epstein?" Like kind of just like a giant fuck you to his followers. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that today, and whether this is a real break, what it actually means, and what does it mean that some MAGAs are upset about this, but not the mountain of horrible shit that he's done in other places. So who wants to kick it off in this? I
feel like Rich has got a soliloquy teed up.
I got a lot of thoughts on this, but no, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is like, why this and why now? I think that's the $1 billion question, where this dude's been it's funny that he's like, stop talking about Epstein when he literally built his entire career on a birth certificate. Right. And then he's a, can we call him a pedophile? Like a person could call him a pedophile. No, Trump. A person would, and I wouldn't post a comment on that video. Yeah. I wouldn't criticize someone who said that, is how I would frame it. And like, these are all just things that are planned. Like, we know that he like walked into changing rooms at the beauty contestants. Like, that's a thing that was like very well covered.
Talked a lot about his daughter.
He used his hands to forcibly penetrate a woman and was convicted of that in court. And so like, these are all things that are objectively part of reality. And yet now we get to this thing where it's like, I think we're all kind of like, is this real? Like, I feel like I'm being gaslit again. It's like Charlie Brown with the football, where I'm like, are you guys actually mad about Epstein? Or is this just like the latest thing where you're being little bitches and then like, like little idiots. And then you're going to, and then like, you'll all find your way back to him, just like you guys always do. Yeah. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. And I'm like, I don't know, it kind of feels real, but I've also been burned several times. And so I'm just kind of,
I mean, there was the bill thing, there was like the tariff thing. That's two big like breakups they've had in the last fucking 6 months.
But it wasn't like foundational, like those things, like policy stuff is not foundational to MAGA.
It doesn't affect him. That's true. They can always make the case that it's someone else. But this, I feel like they're directly attributing to Trump.
100%.
Which is funny because in an ideal world, the DOJ and the president are completely separate. They should be pissed at Bondi for not releasing it, but they're not.
No.
Well, Laura Loomer is, right?
I don't know.
I think
she's never going to say anything.
Laura Loomer, she's never going to say anything half sane. She is nuts.
Oh yeah, a ton of them want Bondi out. I mean, she's nuts too. I don't know. It's the whole thing. Like the weirdest part about it to me, like I started doing research back into this like a week ago, and like Trump has avoided this topic relatively expertly, while at the same time his cult is obsessed with it. Yeah. And that's the thing I find so interesting. It's like, how is that possible? How is Trump, like the guy who talks the most shit about everything all the time, how is he just completely not, like he's avoided this completely, and yet somehow his entire cult
I don't understand how they're surprised by this. He teed up this lie a year ago when that interviewer asked him, well, would you release those ones? And he goes, yes, but actually no. Right. Like he was teeing this shit up a year ago, and they've completely just fucking missed it.
Yeah, I think one of the genius, I hate to use the word genius, but like this guy did get elected twice when he absolutely shouldn't have. But again, I think a lot of this is because they have their own messaging ecosystem.
Yes.
And he can pick and choose when to dive in and when not. But they have to fill 24/7 of bullshit. And so what are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about the seedy list that this seedy billionaire had
that he's on
right. But
that's why he's not talking about it, right?
But, but like they were suggesting, they're talking about Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and all these people, and like they're basically alluding to that
Jimmy
Jeffrey
Kimmel,
Epstein,
if you're Aaron Rodgers,
which he actually
apparently Barack Obama and both Bidens and
Kimmel actually threatened to sue Trump, I think, because he was like, I have never been on one of those planes, so like you can't, but I
don't fucking try. Don't fucking try me.
Defamation. Yeah. And you have to. Yeah. And though I guess the president, if it's an official act, I guess he can get away with it. But but
is pedophilia an official act?
If it's in defense of the state, I don't know. This is
Jimmy Kimmel's an enemy of the state.
If he says it from the Oval, is that official? I don't know. I mean, that's why that ruling was so ridiculous. But I have people that I was friends with at home who are the most diehard Trumpers, and I have seen them posting, release the list.
They're pissed
incessantly.
Like they are
they're pissed.
Furious.
Yeah, because they've been lied to.
But they've been lied to before, right? So like, why this lie?
Well, it's a conspiracy thing. Like I feel like they went down the rabbit hole with a lot of this shit, but this is the one where like I felt like they had the most like, I know this is true. Like deep down, I know that this is true, and it's just like it's confirming their belief that it's true, and now they're like, oh shit, is he actually on this list? I think that's the thing. Like I think they're not going off this because they believe that the list doesn't exist. They're going, oh shit, Trump is involved in this, and that's their like tasted moment. Yeah.
But I think that's like Zach said, like, right, we're like, well, what policy do you hate so much that you would leave Trump?
Right.
Like that is not even, that is nothing. It's
zero.
This is religion.
He could literally walk in their house, take their money out of their pocket, and he's
a good guy. I like that.
Yeah, that guy, he's going to do something good with that money.
He could pass the murder grandma bill and people would be supportive of it. Yes. I mean, come on.
Trump said it himself. You could shoot somebody on the street and it would be fine. It's true.
Well, I just read an article about like a guy whose wife is an undocumented immigrant and they both voted for Trump. Or he voted for Trump and his wife, who can't vote, as an undocumented.
Would have voted for Trump.
And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, well, we didn't understand. I'm like, bro.
It makes no sense. It's like me as a Jew voting for Hitler. It's like it makes no sense. I don't understand.
It's like a tree voting for the axe.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? I don't get it. It's very bizarre.
I'll throw out my theory. I know we all have theories, so I'll go first. But so I have thought more about Jeffrey Epstein in the last week, and I wish these fuckers didn't make me do this, but this is where we are.
Yep.
I think the reason that this is penetrating is because
that's a very poor choice of words.
Come on.
Very poor choice of words.
I saw Luke's face just dim right there. Is this purposeful?
Or was that purposeful?
No,
okay, so you and I are sounding like a MAGA.
At least they didn't say fags.
We'll never learn. We'll never know. Anyways, so a lot of Trump voters see him as the drain the swamp guy, as the guy that's against the establishment, as the guy that's against both parties, because they know that most establishment Republicans hate his guts.
Yeah. Yes.
So like he's a Republican in name only, right?
Yes. Right.
And so they thought he was fighting for them, and like he had convinced them that he was doing all these things for them, and then he goes and theoretically protects Jeffrey Epstein and everybody on that list. And then the veil is starting to come down that maybe this guy isn't out for me. maybe he's just out for him, and he is actually part of this establishment crew that we've hated forever. And I think that's why people are starting to go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and like in defending this is how it looks, is, in defending the opposite of the conspiracy, right? He is now like jumped ship. Like he's not on their team anymore.
He's not one of us, not part of the ship, part of the crew.
And it's like, I don't know, there's a metaphor, like a movie there's a reference I'm trying to find, but I can't find it. But like when you build your house with that and then you just abandon it, you can't, like, the house of cards topples, right? It's a mixed metaphor. It's bad. But like he slowly built this up on conspiracy. Luke's just hang with me.
I think we've lost Luke entirely. But
hey, look, Kris is here.
We got
What's
him.
up, dudes?
Oh, hey guys.
The baby's
Jeffrey
asleep.
Epstein.
All right, are you guys talking about a secret list?
Yes, we are.
A little bit.
We did. We've pushed one theory out there.
As to why MAGA is so pissed.
By the way, guys, I got to take a break here because Kris, that shirt is phenomenal.
I just
Is
found
that a
it
Find
hanging
Out
in my
podcast
office.
t-shirt?
Looks available.
And there looks like a sweet mug behind you too.
It's very comfortable.
Shit is fire.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm working these in at the beginning to see if we get more sales from the beginning
I like
to the
it.
end of the show.
Buy mugs. So
For
anyways,
anybody on
but if
audio, it's Find Out. Search.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, this is what happens when we record at 9:00 at night. Anyway,
Right.
sorry, go ahead.
I like it.
I
Rich,
know I'm
you
a
were
little
talking.
sharper with coffee than beer, but
I'm sharp as fuck right now.
I know, Luke,
That's the 22-year-old.
I'm always texting Luke at like 10 a.m. like a normal adult time.
You ain't
about
getting a
politics.
response.
And he's like, "What?"
What are you doing?
I'm like, "Hey, come on,
Leave
let's
me
brainstorm."
alone.
I'm
Call
dead
me-
from the neck up till
Call me in
noon.
the afternoon. So when you build your campaign, you build your entire brand, your entire movement on not just on the conspiracies themselves, but on people who are obsessed with conspiracies. You can't pull the rug out. Like you have to maintain that. You gotta keep it going forever. And I mean that's terrifying to me as a person. Like if I wanted people to follow me but I had to perpetuate like 30 layers of lies in every category of lie that I'm telling, that would be very exhausting. And I think they finally got to a point where whether this like list exists on paper or not, obviously, like we're talking about the 80s and 90s, right? Like this was a time in America where the internet was anonymous. Like there was no track record of anyone doing anything unless a person fucking saw it with their eyeballs.
Right.
And then that person had to not be so afraid of being, what do they call it on TikTok? Unalived. Nice, Luke.
Don't do that. I have to fix my camera.
Fucking murdered by an assassin from the deep state. I mean, that's how they would say it, right?
Yeah.
That you would go then say that on like television or tell the police. And then at that point, it's like you didn't have a smartphone to record video. So like it was all just hearsay. Everything was very dangerous. So point being like, yes, everybody in power did fucking absolutely horrific things before the era of information, like ubiquitous digital information and video and photo evidence came upon us. And so we shouldn't be surprised that if every president was on this list prior to 2000, I would not actually be surprised.
Same.
And that's where we are. And so, yes, they thought that Trump was an outsider coming in to drain the swamp. But like anybody who knows anything about Trump, you knew in the 80s and 90s, he was also a billionaire in the middle of New York City. Clearly good friends with Jeffrey Epstein, called him a great guy, talked about how they both liked younger women. Like, come on, dude, like,
Yeah.
Yep.
let it happen. Let your brain finish the rest of the process. And I think I hope that's where they've gotten. Kris, what do you think?
Kris has got a smirk on his face.
We have hope. We're going to fix them all, right?
So,
It's like, how do I even
so
say?
MAGA is
I don't
a
like
cult.
that start.
Yeah.
MAGA is a cult.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that the conspiracy theories feed the cult. Like every cult
Right.
depends on myths.
Yeah.
Like fascism, like it believes something, and and all of these lies pile on top of one another. It is what forces the belief in these myths, in these lies, is what forces people to give up on their friends and families, to abandon their values, because they start to believe the myth is more important than anything else. And these people, tied themselves to someone who is objectively a moron. He's a good salesman. He's a good con man. intelligent people are not fooled by him, but idiots are. And I'm sorry for people who might be listening to this and feel offended.
All of our MAGA listeners.
I'm not sorry.
There's some recent converts. We just had one on a recent episode. Yep, I wasn't there for, sadly. But if you've ever been conned by Donald Trump, you're a fucking idiot. Like, objectively, everything about the man is
you
fucking
are one
fraudulent.
dumb motherfucker.
The dude has talked about fucking his own daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like live on air on Howard Stern has been talking about how his daughter is a, and I quote, piece of ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
How the fuck do you think, if this guy is attracted to his own daughter, that given the chance by fucking Jeffrey Epstein to go fly to a private island full of fucking children, that this man is not going to live out the fantasies that he's been having about his daughter with some poor fucking other victim who doesn't have a voice, who doesn't have an opportunity to sue the guy, who doesn't have an opportunity to call the cops because she's on a fucking island.
Right.
Right. Or even if it happens in New York, if it happens at a penthouse in New York City, which is far more likely in the case of Trump.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump is a predator. He's been found liable for what New York State defines as rape.
Yep.
And he is described being attracted to his own child. So for people who are,
if you're surprised
upset,
by this,
I'm not seeing the what's the issue here then, Chris?
yeah, I mean,
if you could boil it down to one thing,
it's how all they are. It's how
so
all of
what
them are.
I'm
silly.
angry at is MAGA is like, whose fault it is? It's the woman.
It's Joe Biden.
It's Pam Bondi.
Yes.
It's Pam Bondi's fault.
God.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
They're gonna throw her straight under the bus, and she was just doing what Trump wanted her to do. But it goes back to the same thing. If you hitch your horse to Donald Trump, you will never end up in a good spot.
No.
Nope. They
The
all get
second he
screwed.
needs you under a bus.
There's no
that's
falling
exactly
upwards
where
with
you're going.
them.
No.
No.
But for real, like, why isn't Kash Patel at fault? Like, Kash
I
Patel
had not
runs the
thought of that. I mean,
FBI.
like, it's right in front of us, and yet it's so often the case with him. Why is it the woman
I have
who's
an
in
answer.
charge of this fail?
I have an answer on that one. Cash doesn't go to work.
No,
Like, he's
That's
never
true.
there.
He objectively does not go
like,
to work.
I'm not joking
He
about this.
tweeted
This is
the other
real.
day.
He actually he tweeted the other day. He actually got permission to run the FBI from his house in Las Vegas. He is
really?
never there. Yes.
I didn't know that.
And then that other bozo, what's the
Dan
Dan
Bungle
Boogie-
Bungle.
Boingman, Bongoman, yeah, whatever the fuck his
Yeah.
name is.
has realized that he can make a lot more money podcasting, which I wish that was true for us. It's not, but if investors are interested, let me know. But
Tell him about the coffee mug.
Yeah, we already did the coffee. Yeah, but buy a coffee mug.
We'll be rich.
But instead of being the deputy director of the FBI, so they don't have leadership in the FBI.
They don't do
like
fucking anything.
They don't do anything. They're making $180,000 a year each, and they don't even go to the FBI. They're not even in the building. And Trump's the one
Kind of
who's like,
crazy
everyone
that
has
the
to return
director of
to
the
work.
FBI only makes 180 grand a year.
It is.
That's true. That is really low.
Well,
That's
but
fucking
because,
surprising.
Yeah, but because when you retire,
Yeah,
you then go
keep
into a
making the
private
same amount.
security thing, and you speak, and
Yeah.
you make like $500,000 a year minimum.
That's true.
So like,
Yes.
it's not a big sacrifice, especially if you're working from home.
Here's the question for everybody. I have my own opinion, but I'll save it till I get the answers from you guys. Do you think this is like truly the beginning of the fracturing of MAGA forever? Or is this a blip in the history of MAGA and they'll persist?
I think it's like an iceberg. We
is a
started at
blip.
critical mass, and they're going to start to chip off. I don't think it's
Just
not
the
a
tip?
central break. Yeah, it's just the tip.
I had to get that in. Sorry.
I liked it. That was good. I liked the tip.
You like the tip? Is it enough?
I only got the tip in, so it's fine. Keep going.
Doing this too late at
we
night.
said we said we were doing a dudes podcast and talk like dudes, so here we go.
There you go.
I think my pessimism is keeping me from saying that it is a big fracture, but it's a problem, and like we haven't seen this before, and I think that's the thing that I keep looking at is Trump kind of, like I said the other day, like kind of just like mocked the people that were talking about it, which was really the first time he had turned his ire on his own people.
Yeah, they didn't
And
like
they
that.
clearly did not
like that.
They were not fans.
And he hasn't done anything to clean this up. And
there is nothing he can do. He can't rectify this situation.
Right.
If he releases a list without his name on it, the conspiracy theories are still going to be there.
Yeah.
And also he's got to have
his whole house at that.
And he's got to have somebody that will know the truth to fucking scribble his name out, because him doing it with a Sharpie doesn't help.
Yeah, he'll be collateral damage to that list. If somebody else, they'll take him down too.
Well, and the other thing that is crazy, and I am not one to follow any conspiracies because I just think that most of them are completely absurd. But the footage that they released of the prison cell where Jeffrey Epstein hung himself, or at least that's the thought, had a minute of footage. They like could tell that it had been manipulated.
Yeah, it wasn't raw.
There's a fucking watermark from Adobe fucking Premiere Pro in it. and they
fire all the good
people. It's in the
metadata.
metadata. This shit's ridiculous.
They didn't even pay for the full version.
Her argument was that, there's a minute missing. It happens every day. There's not a convenience store in America that would buy a security system that was missing a minute a day. Like, not fucking one. And you're going to tell me that it's a top, a fucking great prison has that? Get the fuck out of here.
Right when he kills
buffering.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, those tapes and they usually like re-record after 24 hours or 3 days or something like that.
Right.
And now they're all digital, so they don't even really do that anymore.
Right.
I don't think. But
no,
I mean, but they have a real problem on their hands because they've released footage that has clearly been manipulated.
Yes.
They are lying about a list. I don't actually know if the list exists. I have no idea, but Pam Bondi literally said it was on her desk. So
you can't claim shit like that and not back it up.
Well, it's one of those, like, are they stupid or are they, are they incompetent or are they malicious? Like, it doesn't make a difference. But in this case, like, either Pam Bondi way overspoke to try to give herself some cred, or she is lying. And really, what is better? And does it matter?
Right.
No,
I don't give a shit which it is.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the way I look at it is, I think this is actually like regular Republicans. This is their best day ever because they don't give a shit about all this stuff. Like these people that give a shit about the Epstein stuff are the people who weren't voting prior to Trump running for president. They're the ones who got activated by Donald Trump. But, ooh, look at this lunatic saying lunatic shit that I like. That's awesome. Let me dive into this. And now those people are going, wait a minute. And I don't think all of those people are going to fragment off and leave, but I do think enough are going to go away where all of that momentum the Republican Party, in quotations, really just MAGA now, but the Republican Party has been enjoying is going to get frittered away when they need it the most coming into 2026 and 2028. Trump and MAGA need those margins. And for me, I don't see this as some giant wave of MAGA comes crashing down and it's amazing. But what I do see is that little chunk of people that made Trump president are going to get chopped away. And that is the Democrats' true opportunity.
Well, it's interesting, too, because like Ro Khanna put in that roll call vote that's coming this week.
Yes.
That's going to demand everybody vote on it. Like, you are going to be on the record as either hiding it or you're going against Trump. Either way, you're fucked.
I don't know what they're going to do, to be perfectly honest. Because
it's a bad deal.
Do you risk your seat?
You risk your seat either way, though.
Well, right. Do you risk your seat defending Trump?
Right.
Or do you vote to release it and have the ire of Trump? I don't know which is worse for these guys, because they don't have a lot of room.
You're going to fall out a window if you go against Trump.
Pull a Putin. I'm going to tell him what to do right now. You go against Trump.
Oh, it's the smart play, 100%.
You go against Trump because he's not going to be on the ballot.
Right.
And like this shit's ending. And so like, Zach, it's a really good question because nothing happens in a vacuum, right? Like if this were in a vacuum, they would 100% come back to him. But when you look at the contextual clues, all of the other things that are happening, you look at how well Trump did with like his magic in 2024, if you want to call it that, was that, yes, he did win more minority voters and more like young men, especially than anyone thought was possible. And then he did in 2016. And so, I think the people in the media are like, what is it? What is this magic that he has? He just has this grasp on people. Those people are now getting either distracted. Like Trump isn't cool anymore. Like, I think it's almost that simple. I was a young man. We were all young men once, Luke. Congratulations.
I am a young man.
You like things for absolutely irrational reasons sometimes because you're just like, yeah, they said fuck the system and I thought that was cool. And then like 5 minutes later, you're like, well, it turns out that was kind of a dumb decision. Or you
just how I feel when you shit on me for liking Creed.
If you want to talk about Creed and Nickelback,
we'll pivot there immediately.
What did I just?
Don't worry, it's fine.
I just broke Zach's computer. I touched a thing that looks like a hard drive. Like, I think he's just not the thing anymore. Yeah. And the fact that like he's not the center of all the conspiracy theories. The fact that sort of everything is going a little bit weird and sideways, like it's a real convenient time for like the cool people to just Homer Simpson into the shrubs on MAGA. And like Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan, like they're all just kind of like dripping out shit. Like it's that like, well, I never like loved how he said things.
I didn't know he was going to do this.
I thought he was going to do good things. I mean,
yeah, it's going to be in 5 years. Well, nobody really supported it.
We all knew that he wasn't the best. I'm like, you voted for him.
Right.
And now everybody's life
so
is
then,
worse.
so that makes me ask the question, what do you do with those fucking people?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
If this is their breaking point,
Chris,
and Homer Simpson threw the shrubs right to our side.
I don't think this is the breaking point. I think this
but
is
there's some people
Hollywood.
that are upset about it, right?
I think this is where everyone's like, ooh, this is not good. They back away for a little bit. This is just like Access Hollywood, where all of his allies were silent for a couple of weeks, and then they're like, oh, I forgot about this.
But that was before he won, and there's no big win out ahead of him, though. Like that happened, and then he won, and so a lot of people were like, oh, well, he's impenetrable.
Right.
He's a fucking, he's a tank. We have to get on board. Like there's nothing, at least maybe that's what I'm telling myself. There's nothing next that he can then go win and defy the odds. It's just going to,
that's the thing. He needs a win, and he's facing down a bunch of fucking headwinds. I mean, it's fine.
That's his win. He's going to take away an American born citizen. He's going to make her.
What he
does, lives in Ireland anyway.
I'll tell you what he's going to do. I mean, this isn't different from the original plan, but he's just going to keep deploying American troops throughout American cities, and he's going to keep encouraging ICE. He's already said it. He's like, use all necessary force to arrest people. If you assault a cop,
Tom Homan got on national television and said that they don't need fucking probable cause other than physical appearance now.
Yeah,
I mean that's the same shit they're calling for.
Well, how much did they just get from the shitty bill? How much? Did
40 billion, I think, right?
No, 150.
150.
I thought a chunk of that was for the wall, though.
I think a chunk of it is for the wall, but no, I think ICE alone is 150 billion.
Well, let's remember FEMA money is for FEMA, and they built a concentration camp with it. So, like, I think they could find a way to make wall money, mass deportation money.
Yeah.
Wall money is ICE money.
I think as soon as there are videos, and if you watch Fox News, this is all that's on there is people getting in fights with cops or ICE.
Oh yeah,
we're going to see more masked men running around with guns. No one can tell whether or not they're actual law enforcement officers.
Right.
People are, I think, going to eventually respond using, the Second Amendment.
One of those motherfuckers is going to get popped.
And then Donald Trump's going to push it further. Yes. And no one's going to give a shit about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not going to give a shit about Jeffrey Epstein.
No, neither none of us are.
When Americans are getting shot by ICE, because that's where we're going.
Well, the challenge with that, though, is that it's a losing road. Right. Like he's on a losing road right now with his own people, but that's a losing road with everybody. I mean, not everybody, but it's a losing road with like a larger group of people. So that's the challenge I have.
I think 20, I don't know, probably 30% of the Republican Party has some level of roots in libertarianism. And I'm from a deep red state with a lot of libertarians. And those are the people who, like Joe Walsh. I mean, he was more of a Tea Party libertarian. And so we had like a lot of disagreements. But when it comes to like the Constitution is still the Constitution. A lot of those people still believed in that. And libertarians are all about individual rights. And so when you start talking about taking away guns, when you start talking about masked officers and having like these, I mean, this is essentially a new entire military within the law enforcement community, where they're getting more money than every other law enforcement agency combined, like significantly more than everyone else combined.
And most of the world's militaries.
Yes.
And now they just have masks on and they get to run around and do whatever they want. Like half of Republicans are not okay with that, and 100% of Democrats are not okay with that.
Yeah, but Rich, you're assuming that there is logic and that there is commitment to these people's ideology. There is no commitment to libertarianism.
There's more spine in a jellyfish.
If there was a commitment to Trumpists who, like libertarians who adopted Trump, if there was a commitment to libertarian ideals, they wouldn't have gone committed to Trump. You look at any, and again, like my specialty is following extremists.
Right.
There is no militia who is preparing to right-wing militia.
Yeah, they're not going to fight
libertarian, inspired militia who's getting ready to mobilize against ICE. The Boogaloo, which was pretty libertarian, like liberal, like policies, have started this like fringe movement where now they're going after progressives. They're going after protesters instead.
Right.
So like even the most libertarian of the extremist movement, the armed extremist movements, have adopted Trump as their king. Like,
don't tread on me, folks. Love being stepped on by Daddy Donald.
Yeah. So
even after Epstein?
Even when we start seeing, even after Epstein. I mean, none of this stuff matters. Like they are all still in his camp.
Well, Kris, you said something. I was listening to the podcast you were doing, I think, with Reed Galen from the Lincoln Project last week. This is not a happy topic, but what you guys were talking about, they got so much funding and they need to hire so many positions. What does that mean about the candidate quality that they are going to be hiring, that are going to be the people on the ground grabbing people hiding behind masks?
Yeah. I mean, we saw it in Vietnam. We saw it in Iraq. We saw it in Afghanistan. When there's an unpopular war, people stop joining the military willingly. And people who are able, like Donald Trump, start getting, deferments saying, I have fucking bone spurs. So all of the qualified candidates find other things to do.
Right.
And they lower the standards. I mean, I saw it when I was serving. Leading up to the troop surge going into Iraq in 2007, they had to lower the standards and offer massive bonuses.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
When this happened in Vietnam, it happened to such a wild degree that they allowed people in where their life expectancy was like a quarter of what the average recruit or draftee was.
Well, I was going to say they were drafting everybody, right?
Yeah.
But
they lowered the standard for the draft.
They lowered the standards so much that it was not just leading to lower life expectancy for the individual draftee, but everyone around them. And we are going to have ICE agents who are scraping from the bottom of the barrel, who are not emotionally intelligent, who are joining because they were part of an extremist organization that no longer needs to exist because Donald Trump is running all of their wet dream extremist ideologies.
They get paid for it if they do
policy.
it for Trump.
Yeah,
exactly.
You might as well go get a fucking W-2.
Yeah.
So 3 years from now, like 3 years from right now, the summer, leading up to elections, we're going to have ICE agents who've been in for 2 years, who are going to be hotheads, who are going to be trigger happy, who are going to be racists, and they will not be screened out.
This conversation's scaring me.
But Zach, like you mentioned something a couple of weeks ago in an episode, maybe it was yesterday, I don't remember, but you were talking about like this is the era of instant digital accountability. And like, I think that's obviously that is the one thing you look back at, like Vietnam and the Korean War and World War II, like I think it was I don't want to say anything that's rude because I just don't know history that well. But there was a person, I believe, in Vietnam who lit themselves on fire in the middle of a street, and a journalist took a picture of a person who was protesting. I believe it was somebody who's like in a meditative state, and they just lit themselves on fire. And like that took over the world because at the time there weren't 7,000 TikTok or like 7 million TikToks being made every day. It's
totally different.
That was the first dose of reality that anyone got. And that, like, I think that image alone changed. I know for a fact that image alone changed the course of the war because people saw it and they go, holy fuck, if it's that bad, I think we have to change ourselves a little bit. And so like, I think we're numb to that to some degree because like you can see that 700 times a day in an action movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you like, I remember, in the Mediterranean Sea, when there were some really bad things happening in the Middle East, you saw like kids that were drowning in the life rafts, and you see things that are horrible at the border. Like those things still are real, and they still kind of destroy you when you see them. And so if we start seeing that at the border in cities, I mean, we've seen what's happened in Los Angeles, and like
it shifted shit real fast.
They're shutting it. Like LA is still LA. And so you get those little snippets out in the world, and at least we have a chance, like we give humans a chance to be human and react to what they're seeing.
Yeah. I mean,
react appropriately.
But I think the question to that though is like, well, what happens with that? Right. Well, like, I don't think Donald Trump's going to care.
No, I think
that's the scary. You do?
I do.
He's an opportunist.
Yeah, exactly. He's an opportunist. That's the thing. Is like, I'll go back to an analogy I've used, I think, before in this podcast, but I'll use it because it's completely relevant to what we're talking about. The Republican, it's like two football teams. And the Republicans and MAGA are like the team that just talks a bunch of shit before the game. And you think before going into the game, this is going to be a blowout. The MAGA is going to beat the fuck out of the Democrats. It's going to be great. Then you get on the field and you go, oh shit, they have nothing. We're about to enter the first quarter of the game. We haven't even gotten on the field yet. We've been in the shit talk phase since he got elected. Like we've been, we're kind of like in pregame right now. There's not a ton of shit that we've actually seen. They have to implement their game plan now. That's what's about to happen. It's a losing game plan. It's dog shit. It's like they brought in a high school coach to coach the NFL. You're going to get the shit kicked out of you. This isn't going to work. People in this country are not going to like it.
Voters are like the fans in this scenario, right? They're just
and
like,
Trump is the owner
like
of this team. Trump is going to pull that coach in 2 seconds because Trump is an opportunist. Trump will look at this game plan and go, I thought this was going to work. I thought I could bully my way through this shit. It's not going to work. And have you ever seen Trump die on a hill?
No.
Never.
Well,
he won't die on the Epstein hill.
He won't die on any hill because that's Trump's nature is self-preservation. Trump can give a fuck about his group. He cares about him. That's it.
Right. But he doesn't have any more elections. So
it doesn't matter. It's his legacy. Trump cares more about legacy.
So let me ask him.
I think his legacy does matter a lot to him.
Let me ask you though. So you think that, let's just say that there is a video similar to the one that we saw of the LAPD beating Rodney King in 1992, whenever it was,
for him,
beating the living shit out of this guy who was not a threat.
Yes.
It caused riots. It was horrendous.
Yep.
So you're telling me if we see that with ICE, he's going to pull back?
Yes, that's what I believe. I don't know if I'm right. I would say I would rate my confidence at 70%, but I'm 70% confident.
Well,
what does he say?
Who am I?
Because isn't pulling back meaning that he's admitting defeat?
No. Trump is the kind of person where he will stop the full tilt push into what he's doing, and he will throttle back a bit and reassess.
He changes the subject immediately.
But didn't he want to shoot protesters?
But he never did.
He never exactly. Trump says he wanted to nuke a hurricane. He never did that either. Trump has a lot of bad ideas.
He says the thing.
But the Joint Chiefs were like, hell no, we're not doing it. Milley was still there. He was like, go fuck
I think
yourself.
there's, even though his current inner circle is way worse than it was in his first term, there are still like functional adults in the room that know like, oh, this is going to be a complete fucking meltdown. Like there's not a lot, but there's still a couple.
That's the nicest thing we've ever said about Pete Hegseth.
Whoa, who is that?
I think it depends. I honestly think that Susan Wiles is probably the best bet you've got there.
Pragmatic. I think she's pragmatic.
She's pragmatic, and she's the one who's in his ear the most.
She's the one who turned off Truth Social. I guarantee it. Like everybody in my comments is like, oh, it's Stephen Miller. No, Stephen Miller didn't turn shit off.
Stephen Miller wants to push.
Susan Wiles is the one who would be like, what if we turned off your public posts as you're like tweeting out? Like,
there's still people in there that are like right in his ear, like, hey, I know all these lunatics are right here, but this is wrong, and it's gonna fuck you over.
Well, but you got Susan, but I don't know who the second person is.
I don't think you need a second person. Like Trump is the kind of person where like wherever the wind blows in that moment, he's kind of going to go with it. And I think he's trusted her for an extremely long time. I don't want to put this whole thing on her. It's just the first name that popped in my head. I'm sure that there's other people.
I think she's one of them though. Like,
yeah, she is definitely.
There are survivors. There are people who die for him, and then there are survivors. And he doesn't have a lot in there, but like he also is looking like I 100% agree. He's looking for self-preservation. He never admits defeat, but you do see him change the subject. Like I got so much shit when I was like, Elon Musk is out. Like, guys, just give it like 4 weeks. We're real close. Like in March, it was like shit's getting weird. And it was clear that shit's getting weird, but they're not saying. Remember when Trump and Elon were like on TV together, and they're like, they want us to hate each other, but we love each other. Like fucking 4 weeks later, he was like, Trump's on the Epstein list, and it's like, okay.
Also, I want to say one thing though, because Trump really does operate more than anything like a mob boss. That's kind of his thing, and what he's been like. A lot of people, and I agree to a certain degree that a lot of what you can look at Trump and say is luck, that he's lucked out in a lot of situations, but most of it isn't luck. Most of it is predicated on this specific thing, that when Trump understands that he's literally on the edge of complete self-destruction or stopping doing what he's trying to push,
right? He's bankrupt himself like 12 times, and he somehow finds his way back to billions of dollars.
He has this crazy balance of like the second he's about to fall off the cliff, he goes, oh, hold on a second, and he's right back in the mix. And I guarantee the same things will happen here, because I've never seen it not go that way with Trump ever. I can't think of a single example.
He's never died on a hill.
Never.
So the reason why we're talking about ICE using violence against people is because we're talking about Donald Trump changing the subject from Epstein.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Like that is I mean, again, going back, putting my threat analyst hat on, this is what's happening anyway. Like the ICE shit, the violence, the like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, ICE is going to be tremendous. It's going to be full with actual fucking morons.
Yes.
Who are extremely dangerous to be carrying firearms, to be given a badge, to be given a mask, to be given armor and fucking armored trucks. There is no world in which one video of like a Rodney King type situation saturates the media and gets all Americans to believe the same thing. There is no fucking world. Like if you watch Fox News Today, if you watch OAN, Breitbart, like any of these streaming platforms that are producing thousands of hours of video and audio every single week, that half of America at least is more tuned into than not, their version of reality is always going to have the ICE guys are the victims. There could be 16
what
of
if they're
them
listening to Andrew Schultz or Joe Rogan, though?
Well,
a
here's
guy
the
who's
I think there's a better
down.
analog. There's a better analog to Rodney King. It's George Floyd, right? You don't need the whole country to look around and go, hey, we all agree. But you need enough people to go, ooh, that's super fucked up. And it creates a movement. And I think, like, even if you're right, like Fox News tried to create any kind of narrative they could to get people off of George Floyd. They were desperate to be like, oh, wait a minute, what about that? All right, yeah, but most of the country went, shut the fuck up, dude. I'm watching it, all right? Yeah. You can't make me think something different from what I'm fucking watching. If you have a video like that, you'll have 30% of the country just never going to leave that fucking hill. But you'll have 20% of the country that's in the middle right now that likes Trump and go, ugh, that was rough.
And he really wants those people too. He needs them.
He cares about the whole MAGA movement depends on those people going with them.
Let me ask you this, though, because I mean, I think you're right. I don't disagree with that. But if George Floyd had happened in Mississippi or Arkansas, does that go the same way? Because at least in Minneapolis and Minnesota in general, you had Tim Walz, who's a great governor. You had a good mayor, and they actually fucking did what they were supposed to do, which was they arrested him immediately and charged him with murder. And then we had a Biden administration. No, excuse me.
Biden won and beat. No, that was the Trump administration.
No, when
it happened.
Did Trump charge him with terrorism charges?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because he has federal charges. He had federal charges.
Trump didn't do shit on that, from what I can recall.
They were civil rights charges. They weren't terrorism charges.
Right. So I'm sorry, civil rights charges. Well, that still might have been Biden in 2021, though.
Biden, I know. Afterwards. I mean, a huge element of Biden's victory was using the BLM movement to bolster up the case.
But I guess my point is, like, I think you're right in certain places where there are structures and systems in place that will actually take care of this. But it worries me about. I mean, I guess most of the border state, Texas. I mean, it could. I mean, if an ICE agent kneels on an undocumented worker in Texas and kills him, I don't think he's going to get charged.
I don't think charge to me, the thing that matters is a social movement and the video that you're seeing with your own eyes. Like, I understand that maybe it plays a role what happened in the system, but the truth of the matter is what you see with your own eyes. It doesn't matter if I saw it in Mississippi or in Arkansas or in California. It's fucked, and people are going to go, I don't like this. This is not good. I want you to be right and me wrong, but like, there's also the case in South Carolina where the cop literally shot a black guy in the back. That didn't change anybody's perception of the police in South Carolina. I think it's different, though. Like, the thing that made George Floyd so different was because of the inhumane nature in which he died. Shooting someone in the back is inhumane regardless, but this guy was essentially tortured in front of people and killed. Agreed. That's a different thing. So I think if something like that, where you go, there's just no humanity in this. Like, gunshot's a split-second decision. This guy kneeling on this dude until he dies is totally different. It was minutes. It was totally different. I agree. I just think
the difference between now and then is that was a catalyzing moment, and the two sides have been through the like experience.
We've been catalyzed.
Their side. You are either cops can kill anyone, or cops shouldn't kill anyone. No minds are changing. So my point is that Donald Trump is going to lean on provoking violence because that is what his base is most passionate about. That is where his base, they're going to not give a shit about kids anymore or any of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. It's all going to be about, they like when the state uses violence against their enemies. It's going to be people of color. It's going to be, blue-haired hippies or whatever, right? It's going, the person who is the recipient of the violence is going to be perceived as the enemy to Trump's base. So when this happens, it's going to just rile them up. Yes, it may rile us up as well, but the more conflict, the better in Trump's world.
I just want to clarify, like, I'm not, like, I don't think MAGA minds will change on this shit at all. Like, I think that you're right. I think that those people are, like, invested in this being the outcome. But I don't think the majority, like, I think I honestly, if I were to, like, fragment out the people who voted in this last election, I think it's 30% of people voted MAGA, and the rest that Trump got were somewhere in the middle, just like they're voting for the economy, whatever.
Even if half of Trump voters are full blown like MAGA, that's still about 12% of the American public and about 25% of voters.
Exactly. So like, I don't think those people ever changed their mind. I think it's the people who held their nose and voted for Trump strictly based on economics, or didn't fully think through what the humanity of the immigration actions would be. Yeah. Those people's minds, I think, can be altered by something that is clearly inhumane. And I believe. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not saying.
I think you're.
Let me give you an example, because I totally agree. And I know quite a number of people who voted for Trump, whether it's, family or whether it's through family or friends. If something like that were to happen, those are the times when I would not go from like, I'm going to not talk to you about politics at Thanksgiving, but we're still going to eat turkey in the same house, to we can't exist in the same universe together if you are going to continue to back this. Yes. And that's when, like, a person like me who's very moderate, I want to keep the peace, I want to like everybody, I want everybody to like me, I will finally force myself to say, okay, well, saying you voted for Trump for egg prices is one thing, but now you have to own this thing that just happened. And if there's something that happens like that, his base will shrink. And there will be a very loyal portion of his base that won't change their mind. But I think that's where we need Trump to, out of sheer self-interest, to not even like maybe decelerate, but maybe just change direction at the same speed. And like, he's got all this money earmarked for ICE, but you also know that like Trump is the guy who would love nothing more than to say, just like he did with Doge, just like he did with Musk, well, I thought this was the great investment because I was trying to make America great, but these guys are all fucking idiots. Like, look what he did with Iran and Israel. Right. No, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Mm-hmm. He loves to turn on people and throw them under the bus and say that they're dumber than they were supposed to be, or than they're dumber than he is. And so like, there's always that option on the table. And we just need him to do that out of self-interest, not because he's doing the right thing, but because it's the best for him to survive.
So, yeah, I think that's right. I think we're all in agreement. I think my big question comes down to this. In the second term, where his popularity numbers are going to probably continue to drop because this bill is going to get implemented. It's bad. It's already happening. And Epstein or whatever. My question is that we put $150 billion in 2 or 3 years into this essentially lawless force, and they start doing shit that people don't like. Does Donald Trump go with his base and the people who love it and are foaming at the mouth, or does he go with the moderates and the Democrats? And that's where I have a hard time imagining he's going to do the latter, because when he leaves office, he is going to be using that base to sell shit, Trump trinkets and all this bullshit, right? That he wants them to buy coins and all this crap.
It's a gift shop at the casino.
Right. And if he moves theoretically to the center and disavows them, he will end up with no support.
Yeah.
So that's why I have I get it. Like, I agree that he tries to get out of everything and he's quite good at it. But I just, in this particular case, he's like, we're finally getting to the thing that he has always promised. And that is violence and elimination of minority populations in this country at the behest of white people. And so it's becoming like game time, right? You're right about the game time, but I just don't know where he's going to go when it goes sideways, because it's going to go sideways.
I don't think that, for me, I don't think it's any of those things. I think the question is right, but I don't think all the options are on the table. I don't think he has to go with MAGA or he has to go to the middle with Democrats. I just think he looks at the situation and goes, I'll just throttle back a little. He doesn't have, like, he essentially has to go,
shut up.
Right. Like, I don't have to stop pursuing mass deportations. I just have to change the way in which I pursue it a little bit, so it's not inhumane. Like, he doesn't have to go like, hey,
just say you're deporting the worst people, and then just don't you could just not deport anyone. And he fully just say, I'm deporting all the worst people, and all of his people would believe it.
It's true. But it's all just functionally, like, he needs, in that situation, if there is this video that comes out that's inhumane and horrible and ICE is acting poorly, all he has to do internally is go, hey, the next person who does shit like this, I'm going to fucking destroy you. Yeah. You can't do that shit, but the mission is still going.
Making me look bad.
Right, exactly. Like, and I think like that like I agree with Kris, like the risk of this for Trump is that there's going to be a tremendous amount of unqualified people in these positions, and throttling the back is not going to be easy because Trump's not on the ground with them. But at the same time, these people listen to Trump's edicts and he goes, hey, this is what we're doing. And people go, all right, shit. And that's it. So I think that the most likely option is he won't stop pursuing what he's pursuing. He'll just change the course in which he's pursuing it to suit him enough. That's just my...
I want to ask Luke. I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
You're in a red state, and you know lots of MAGA people. What do you think about all of this? Do you think that when ICE starts, I mean, because I hate to say this, that it's a fact, but like we put 150 billion, which means tens of thousands of unqualified ICE, they're gonna hurt people.
3,000 a day. That's their goal.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Like, what are you like? First of all, I'd love to hear your opinion, but also like from a younger person perspective, are people paying attention to this, or is it just like whatever?
I kind of gonna maybe locate myself a little bit here, but there was a kid that there's like I think he was 16-year-old kid that just got deported from around here not too long ago. He plays soccer, like he was like everybody in the community liked him, and half the people are like, "What the fuck? Bring this kid back. He's been here since he was 3."
Yeah.
And everybody else went, fuck him. And there's some sign, like there are signs around town that are like, bring this kid back. And then there are people writing on top of them, fuck this kid. And it's like, holy shit. It's fit. Like it is schism straight down the middle.
Mm-hmm. But your area is more Trump though, right? So 50-50 would be less than like what he got in the election, right? So like it is hitting some people. Just not.
It's sad that we're in that place.
I hate that we're doing this, but like
I hate it
because I mean a 16-year-old kid, and regardless, like I don't even know the situation, and I know that kid should be here. It's just like crazy.
He doesn't have a memory from another country.
But the point is, right? Like that 50-50 is not good enough for Trump.
No.
Right? Like because he's losing at 50-50
he's grinding
in that area, right? Like if he was 50-50 in New York City, he'd be fucking dancing in the street, right? Because it would be like good for him. This was supposed to be all about Jeffrey Epstein, and we went all over the place. But
who is that?
Yeah.
The guy with the bed sheet.
That one guy.
Yeah. Oh, the bed sheet. Well, it's not in the well, is that in the video? I don't know. Anyways.
I made assumptions. I'm sorry.
So both with ICE and with Jeffrey Epstein, I think the group kind of generally agrees there's at least some people from those two issues that may be disaffected Trump voters.
Definitely.
And the question, and this was the question we asked Joe Walsh last week, who was a member of Congress that on the Republican side was a Tea Party member and is just registered as a Democrat. How do we, like, if they want to come, do we want to welcome them into our space? And if we do, how do we do that? Because I know there's a lot of shit that these people have done over the years or supported that is abhorrent, but
I think we're going to
our math doesn't work.
Can you define we? Because the answer for me is no, fuck them.
Can we? My answer for me is 100% yes.
Are we emotionally welcoming them, or are we politically welcoming them?
If we're supposed to be
politically, we don't need to have a beer with them.
We're supposed to be a big tent, they should have a big giant fucking tarp under them that they have to stand on. And the second they start fucking off, whoosh, out the exit.
We get a big tent, but their part of the tent is like where they
can be quarantined by themselves. Where
they keep the circus freaks in the corner. Like we push them off the diving board with the donkey.
That's funny.
All right, guys. So this is the political guy coming out. We don't have the numbers to die.
No,
so this is the problem that I have.
That is the only correct answer.
I agree. Like, I don't want to talk to any people who think that, especially after January 6th, like, you know, that this is fine.
Access Hollywood. But
there are not enough of the guys that are on this call, or the ones that we want to bring in from listening to this, or, you know, even the Biden voters who stayed home, because even if you get them back, we're squeaking elections for the next 2 decades is horrifying.
Yeah.
So what do we do with this? Is there an opportunity for us to like present a different approach? Because Andrew Schultz, who is a joke, because like his whole thing, like, I didn't know Trump was going to do all the things that he said he was going to do.
Right.
But he also, did you know what the second part of that conversation was? The only party in America that is thinking about its citizens is the far left of the Democratic Party.
The Democratic Socialists. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, but you skipped the middle part where he said he was excited about the deportations.
Oh yeah, I don't like this guy.
Yeah,
I just
I'm
like
just saying. No.
No.
We have to remember that he was like, but the good thing is he's ripping.
Unfortunately, racism is going strong.
But this is the inherent challenge, right? Because theoretically, this guy is maybe like interested in a Bernie or a Zoran or something like that, right? But like, what do we do with this?
I'll give you my perspective.
We need to.
On it.
I want you to define we, Tim. Are you saying we, the Democrats? Are you saying we the members of the Find Out podcast?
I'm thinking Democrats.
Sorry, that is a very good point. I am referring to Democrats, and I'm talking about winning elections. That's all I'm talking about.
You got to take
it. Yeah. No, 100%.
You don't have a choice.
I mean,
they don't need to be buddy. They don't need to join. We're not going to invite Andrew to be a co-host on this show.
No, fuck that.
But I do think there's value in when you say, okay, I'm going to be a Democrat now, I'm going to vote for it. You shouldn't get to just go, okay, welcome. You should have to get fucking grilled on.
Yeah, you got to atone for your sins.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm good. A big bearded guy should sit there and go, so what the fuck were you thinking?
It's like the gates of heaven.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. I think that's
the fuck were you thinking?
For me, it's really great back there, but you got to answer these first.
Right, you got to let me know why you did this. I mean, I look at this through the same lens you look at Tim, where like, I just want to fucking win. I could give a shit. And like, I look at these guys as pawns. They're pawns in our scheme, right? Like, we don't have to invite them in and be like, hey, have a seat next to me. You can play. You could be the rook or the bishop. Fuck you. You're going to be a pawn. You're going to be right in the front. We're going to throw you in the fire. I don't give a shit.
You die first.
It's not a quest. Like, I don't want to invite them and give them a fucking beer. Like you said, I want to invite them in and use them as a fucking number. That's it. But I think the challenge we face is if we come at them and we present that face to them, they're not going to come in. They're going to look at us and go, well, they don't want me either. Right. So we have to give them at least room. Because I think, like, look, as much as we hate MAGA and Trump and all these things, a lot of these people that, even though we have objectionably different belief systems from them, a lot of them are just like regular people who are like misled or not smart enough to see that they've been lied to, and like they're kind of victims. Like, I know it's hard to consider MAGA people victims.
I have a little bit of sympathy for.
I do too, and it's a lot of them. Like, it's a lot of them.
The ones that are cheering for them.
But they're not going to leave. Those aren't the ones who are going to leave. The ones who leave are the ones who were like, oh my God, I was wrong this whole time. And they have this moment where they were wrong the whole time because they're just not smart enough to see it. So I don't necessarily want to like put them in the fire and be like, you fucking idiot, look what you did, because you're not mentally capable to figure it out.
I don't think they could handle the weight of accountability.
No.
So it's like, hey buddy, cheaper eggs are over here. And they're like, oh,
right.
I guess
I'll carrot, just pull them in.
Guess I'll vote for the lady.
What my personal bias coming out of like the counter extremism world, we have a term, they call themselves this, formers, former members of hate groups, which are effectively cults. Like, if you join a hate group, you've joined a cult. Like, you have given away your life
100%.
To the leader, right? I have seen so many formers come in and they're like, they suddenly get their pats on the back. They're invited into all the rooms and all the discussions. And they spend, a year or two, like literally getting put on a pedestal or given
everyone
a speaking
wants to learn
gig
from them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing you know, they're taking the fucking money that they've raised from the left and they've started a new fucking hate group.
Yep.
So I'm talking about me personally.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fucking engage with these people. I will always, and I'm not, one of those
You're tainted.
frou-frou
They're tainted
liberals
to you.
who fucking loves everybody. I'm filled with fucking hate. Like, these people have actively tried to destroy my fucking country for 10 fucking years.
Right.
These people have either through inaction or on purpose worked to take away my daughter's rights.
Yeah,
he's gonna.
I fucking hate them, and I'm not gonna stop hating them.
I'm gonna play a bit of a devil's advocate here, or a question for you, Kris, and you, Zach.
Okay,
and it's not quite the same, but you were both Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Were.
Yes.
Were. No,
I just want to put an asterisk on were.
Were.
The emphasis, yeah.
And did you guys get put through the ringer? Because I would argue that me in 2007 would have seen two guys that voted for George W. Bush, who supported the greatest foreign policy disaster in probably U.S. history, that completely destabilized the reason we have now, who demonized gay people in order to win re-election in 2004. He even demonized John McCain having an adopted black son in South Carolina. His campaign pushed that.
Yeah.
I would have been a little suspect of you guys in that period of time.
I can tell you
very well should have been.
Yeah, as you should be.
Right. But then what is the appropriate, because you went through it, right? I'm not doing it to criticize you. I'm asking you, how did that feel moving left?
Mine's a little like,
you're a little later, but
but I mean, it's different too. Like, for me, this is going to probably make people angry. I don't feel like I'm a Democrat in title only. I'm an independent. I have a lot of beliefs that go to the right. I just hate Trump and MAGA. Like, I don't agree. All that shit pushed me out of that world. But a lot of what I initially believed was just sort of like policy oriented, right? Mm-hmm. So like, I never really felt like I needed to fit in with Democrats. I just wanted to vote for people who weren't going to ruin the country. And for me, that ended up being Joe Biden. I didn't vote in 2016, and I voted in 2020 for Biden, and obviously I voted for Harris in 2024. I still don't look at myself as a quote unquote Democrat. I'm a, somewhat left leaning independent at this point, just because of the circumstances on the ground. So I never went through that course where you go, hey, are you going to welcome me in? Do I need, because I don't give, for me as a voter personally, I don't need a party. I don't give a fuck. If I agree with what you're bringing to the table and I think you're a person who can lead, I'm going to vote for you. If I don't, I'm not going to. And that's, to me, what the heart of an independent is. So I think a lot of people who would come over are a lot like that. And that's why I think it's important that we remember, it's not so much about let me welcome you in with open arms and here's a glass of milk for you, sit by the fire to be fine. we don't need that shit necessarily. It's more just can I
like half an hour ago.
Can I trust you to not make the same mistakes that pushed me out of my previous set of alignment, really? Because that was Trump for me. Trump came in and I was like, okay, I don't like this guy, but I'll give him a chance. This was back in 2016. I was like, look, he it's an interesting idea having an insane businessman try to run America. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? He might treat America like a business that might work out. That's why I voted for Romney in 2012, because I thought a businessman running America might not be a bad idea. So as the course of his term went on, I went, oh, this is probably a bad idea. But then COVID happened, which was really the first time his ship was really taking on water. And I was like, oh, this guy is complete dog shit. And he doesn't care about human beings. And that is when I went, no, I'm done. And you have a whole movement of people that went on board with that type of thinking. They were like, no, I like that he doesn't care about people. And I like that he's... That's where I went, nope, I'm done. Goodbye. And right. So when you get into that kind of perspective, it's less about party and more just about feel. And my feel was fuck this group, dude. I'm out. That was just me.
Yeah, I think for me, so I don't think of myself as a Democrat first. The Democrats are the party that want to preserve the United States.
Yes.
And preserve the Constitution.
Right?
So that's why it's
they're the
party
same
that I'm
people in the room.
Yeah. So that's why it's the party that I'm a part of.
Right.
I tend not to really even think of myself on a spectrum of left to right. Certainly not anymore, because I am focused solely on anti-fascism, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am focused on the worst of the worst threats, of which, welcome to my fucking world. This is the shit that I've been warning about for 4 fucking years, right?
Right.
I've been trying to tell the left, it's going to get this bad, and nobody on the fucking left believe me, which is why I also fucking hate Democrats. I have worked my ass off for now. I've been doing the counter extremism thing since, infiltrating extremist organizations since 2020, disinformation and radicalization for a few years before that. So almost 10 years when you combine all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that drives me nuts about the fucking Democrats is they can't get out of their own goddamn way. Yeah. And that's why, I can't think of myself as a Democrat. And if I walk into a lot of rooms, as an individual, I walk into a lot of rooms where people say out loud, I don't feel safe with you in the room, looking at me as a white guy, as someone who served in the military. And I'm sitting there I spent $40,000 fucking dollars after a neo-Nazi showed up at my mother's house to hand deliver a death threat. I went back and forth to Asheville, North Carolina, and spent fucking tons of time going to fucking court, doing all the right things, getting a fucking neo-Nazi locked up. I spent fucking years infiltrating extremist organizations, gathering all of the evidence necessary to secure a $3 million judgment all at once in one fucking lawsuit. And you still don't feel fucking safe in the room with me because of the way that I look.
Right.
Like, that's why
You should put all that on a shirt so they can just read it.
Like, I fucking hate all of these people,
Yeah.
right? Like, and again, I use the word hate deliberately.
Right,
I fucking hate these people because we could be doing so much better.
Yes.
Like, our country and the left and Democrats and progressives and people fighting against actual dangerous hate. If these people would just shut the fuck up and use their goddamn brains and be objective and be like, the guy hunting Nazis is probably not a threat to me.
Yeah, I probably let him in.
I, as somebody who was literally in the college Democrats, actually, I only went to one meeting because I looked around the room and I went, and we were in a very red area. I was like, oh, this is fucking, I'm just going to go back to my room and drink with my buddies. But, I have always taken a much more of approach of like welcoming people. Like if people are willing to like switch, I'm just like, fucking right, man. Come on over. Like, you know, not in a like, and then let them raise money and run off.
Forget what
like,
they did,
you know,
kind of stuff.
And I guess maybe that's because more like I've been in that world and it's kind of, it's not that it's a game, but it's like very transactional. But it's fascinating though, that me as I've been a Democrat my entire life. I think when I was like 4 or 5, Luke, you're gonna like throw up when you hear this, but I think I remember being excited that Ronald Reagan won, and maybe I made this up in my brain. And
so
my
it's
parents
your
were like,
fucking fault.
My parent, yes, when I voted at 5,
that was the beginning of the end.
My parents were like, "Why on earth would you say
Fuck
that?"
You, Timmy.
Fuck you, Timmy.
Fuck you.
That's your shirt.
For those of you who didn't watch last week, which you definitely should, Joe Walsh, the former congressman, said "fuck you, Timmy" I think 3 times to me.
It was more delicious every time he used it.
It was.
I just thought it was funny because like if I had actually met him in 2010 when I was in the Obama administration and he was in Congress, he might have actually said "fuck you, Timmy" in like a derogatory way.
Yeah.
But it's
Not
just very
playful.
fascinating. But it's fascinating in this group though, because like I'm the one that's been in Democratic politics the longest, and I'm kind of like, bring them all over. And like some of you guys, who like, I mean, obviously you've done the work, and all these things are more like keep them at bay. It's just fascinating how we all come to this in a slightly different way. Like I think for Joe, for example, Joe Walsh, who again, if you didn't watch, was a one-term Congress member, Tea Party, and then I think endorsed Trump in 2016, and then pretty much right after renounced it, was running against him in 2020, and then became a Democrat. And a lot of people have been angry at him, but I'm like, he's done the work, and I've talked to him for years.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, right? It's like there has to be some sort of mechanism, and I don't know what it is, that's basically like, you're not just doing this to fuck us. You're like, this is like from your heart. And I don't know quite how to do that. Joe's done the work. I truly believe that. But like, I don't know how to really.
So what I think I could have said in a much shorter way is like, I still don't feel welcome in the Democratic Party. So like, why the fuck should I go out of my way to make former MAGA feel welcome?
Yeah. But what if that's what it is?
So
what if that's all of
what my focus, and I'm not saying all of our focus needs to be, what my focus is getting people off the fucking sidelines.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Like if you,
a lot of people that didn't vote.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking people who didn't vote.
A lot. Yeah, tons of fucking people don't fucking vote. People. They feel disenfranchised. And I want them to say, like, it doesn't matter if you feel disenfranchised. Fascism's coming for you and your fucking children.
Right.
Yep. You either vote or they're just coming faster. So like,
it's not a battle you get to pick to fight.
Yeah, right.
It's either going to defeat you or you're going to fight against it.
Yep.
I think the thing that was really, I've spent a good amount of time thinking about Joe's comments about all of the shit that like, cause we're so in it. Right. But like for somebody who's at a, arm's distance from Trump, he has talked so much shit. I mean, frankly, his entire fucking life, and 95% of it has been shit. He's just talking shit constantly. He's saying things, he's pitching brands that go under, and he's like, that's the best. And then he does something else. I do believe that like a good chunk is even after his first term, he talked a lot of shit, and he still, if he hadn't gotten the 3 Supreme Court justices, we would be talking, and if COVID hadn't just happened to him, we would be talking about one tax cut bill that he passed. That is his entire, and like maybe the Muslim ban for like 6 months. That is his whole first term legacy.
Yeah.
He talked all this shit, and he did because he's incompetent, but also because he's like a fucking crow with a shiny object. Like he's so distractible that he just either abandons things because he sucks at doing it or because he gets distracted by another thing. And so I do think a lot of people who are like 10% paying attention were like, there's just going to be more of that.
Right.
Like he's just going to say a lot of shit, but like ultimately it's really not going to be like the end of the world. But he's actually trying to kind of do the end of the world shit now. And so I do think that there are like, we might want to fucking strangle him, but I do think there are a number of people who are looking at him and going, oh my God, he's like maybe doing more maybe of the stuff that I thought was just shit talking.
Right.
And now maybe I kind of don't love it. And that's probably the most they'll think about it. And then they'll vote for somebody else. And so like, if that's going to be if it's the guy at the bar next to me having a beer and I'll talk to him about fucking football for like 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm out of this conversation. If that's the guy and I need him to be on my side, I'll be like, yeah, dude, fucking Trump, man. What happened to that fucking guy? Anyway, I'm going to,
nut job. Yeah.
Fuck that guy. And then like leave the room, like that might be the extent of the conversation. If that's my version of welcoming them back in or like welcoming them back to a path that isn't actively fucking killing people, I'll take that tiny version of a win and I'll just like go back to my regular life.
Rich, what are you doing over the next 18 months? Because I think we got to send you on tours of rural dive bars.
Dude, I can dive bar it.
We're going to do one-on-one.
I'll drink the worst beer, the worst whiskey. I'll fucking lose at pool. Like, I'll lose to all of them as long as they vote for the right person. Speaking of fucking losers, this isn't you, Luke, but Luke, I wanted to talk to you about something. So I'm in Atlanta. You guys may have noticed Zach and I are on the same camera. And we went to Stone Mountain today. And so I wanted to talk to Luke about this specifically, because I just feel like he'll have the right reaction, like the appropriate reaction. Okay. So Luke, a long time ago, a bunch of shitty fucking racist people, they saw this massive stone mountain. What do you think they did to the side of the stone mountain? Do you want to take a guess as to what they might have thought? Like, you see a big blank canvas. What do you think they did to the side of the mountain?
I got no fucking clue.
So they carved the fucking shit out of it. They like big, beautiful monument. It's like 4 miles deep of granite. They carved the shit out of it, put a fucking like 2 football field size carving into the side. Do you want to guess whose faces they carved into the side of this giant monument?
Oh, God.
We're in Georgia. And this was like 100 years ago.
100 years ago?
Yeah.
I got no idea. I don't know.
Okay. Would you be surprised if they carved the president of the Confederacy into the side of a mountain?
No, that would not surprise me.
And his 2 top generals.
Sounds about right.
And would you
more accurately, sounds about white.
Sounds about white.
Yeah.
Would you be surprised to find out that the people who paid for the carving was the KKK?
Also, no shock there.
And also, would you be surprised to find out that the person who did the carving, well, he was born in Idaho, it turns out. I looked that up and I was like, oh, fucking course. Moved to Georgia, was also a loyal friend of the KKK's Grand Wizard at the time. Would that surprise you?
No surprise. No.
So we're at this thing and I look at it and I was like, that's a fucking carving on the side. It's like Mount Rushmore for
somebody
for
should
Nazis.
blow that shit up.
Right. And the best thing about it, I mean, in this sick world we live in, is like the guy who did the carving and like started in like 1923. I learned all this today on Wikipedia. Starts the carving. This is apparently a thing. Like Nazis having crash outs with each other is like my favorite thing to research now on the internet, because the guy started the carving and they all got in a fight, like Elon and Donald. And so they sandblasted all of his work to nothing. And then they paid other Nazis to recarve all of the same shit into the side of the mountain. Jesus. And that's what's on the side of the mountain right now today.
And it's our like number one tourist
destination. Did the KKK in the 1800s have a list of artists that they could go to?
I don't know.
Like they went to the backups? Like,
so I read that the guy who, it's all really like, I think it was this, a lot of the same people did the Mount Rushmore that did Stone Mountain.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And they found a letter with one of the people. I'll probably fuck some of the history up, but they found a letter with one of the carvers, or with the Grand Wizard of the KKK. When he died, he had a letter that was to one of the artists that said like, to my dear beloved oldest friend so and so, and like he just straight up named the artist who did all this carving. And so like there was some like, will they, won't they, like, are they secretly KKK? You know, it's like very Ross and Rachel.
So glad this is like my number one tourist destination in my city. It's great. I feel really, I didn't know any of this shit, by the way,
until today. So you go there and it's like, oh, this is beautiful, and then you open the internet and you're like, oh, fucking course. Fucking ruins everything.
It is Georgia.
To the South.
It is Georgia. There's no question.
Well, I tell you what, guys, we have been going. This is maybe our longest episode ever.
Pretty long.
And looks like get me the fuck off this.
I'm so glad I pushed our merch at the beginning instead of the end. But I'm going to do it again anyways. Obviously, if you want to support our work, which we desperately need, because this is not something that is just free to do, you can buy some merch at findoutpodcast.com. Or if you want to become a member, you can go to findoutpodcast.substack.com. Thank you guys. This was a fun one. We actually were worried we were not going to have enough to say, but there are 5 guys who absolutely love the sound of
we
their
haven't
voice.
gotten to Epstein
all day.
yet.
Everyone's like, I don't know, Epstein. I don't know if we could talk about that for a whole episode.
Fucking right.
We're literally just past an hour 17. Our editor's going to be like, what the fuck is
what
this?
are you talking about?
Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Obviously, please go become a member or go sign up for our merch. And I hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you back here on Thursday. Thanks, everybody.